Hey guys, I want to talk to you today about the story of how I closed my first client, and I want you to be able to use this story for you to help yourself make your first sale, close your first client, sell your first product, and break into the world of entrepreneurship. I first started my business 2 years ago, and at the time I was working with a business partner. Something I always told my business partner is that, in my opinion, until you've made your first dollar of online revenue, you really don't have a business. You just have some idea in your mind that doesn't really mean anything to anyone other than yourself. When you get someone, if you can convince someone to pay you their hard-earned money in exchange for your services, and they're now trusting you, then that, in my opinion, is when you cross that line between wantrepreneur and entrepreneur. And because this is the thing, if you go around and ask people, hey man, do you think this is a good idea? Or hey, can I get your opinion on this? People are nice, people are polite, people don't like conflict, they'll give you the encouragement. But if you ask them to pay money for what you're offering, then you'll get their honest answer. So the story of my first sale is me and my business partner were cold calling businesses across Canada. We literally had a list of small businesses. We'd pick up the phone, we'd call and say, hey, it's Sean, I do websites, do you need a website? It wasn't quite that bad of a script, but it was very rudimentary. We were just selling WordPress websites. We didn't even have a developer. We were gonna build these things ourselves, and we hadn't even learned how to build them yet. Our plan was to close the first client and then do some course online that taught us WordPress, which I think is that is the order you should do things in. Let the money drive your actions. So don't waste your time learning how to do something before you have validated the fact someone's willing to pay for it. So our plan was, let's make the sale, collect half of the fee up front, learn how to build the website, and then collect the second half of the fee. And so we were calling all these businesses. Most people just politely said they weren't interested. And we found a lady in Alberta who ran a dog boarding kennel, and she happened to need a new website. So we were almost, we were caught off guard. We were like, oh, wow, you're actually interested. We've never made it this far. What do we do now? So we awkwardly went through the conversation on the phone. And our sales process, because before we did this, we went to lynda.com, which is a very cheap website with a bunch of basic courses, and we took some 6-hour course on cold calling, which gave us the basics. And our sales funnel at the time was, after the preliminary call, we would try to book them in for a demo. And this demo was nothing more than us bringing the person to our website and going through a list of features. So I should say we did know enough about WordPress to build a very basic website of our own. And I mean, this was very basic. So we learned a little bit about WordPress, enough to build our own website, but we still had a lot more to go before we built a full client website, because ours was extremely simple. So this lady said she was interested, and then we said, okay, let's plan a date where we can go through more of the features and talk about more of the details and see if we're going to be a good fit. So we set the time, we called her, and again, we just took her through extremely basic website features. Our websites are going to be mobile device optimized, search engine friendly. We're going to have a contact box to protect your email. We're going to integrate Google Maps. What else do we say? It's going to be built with a secure backend with clean code. And I mean, all these things were true. This was just the things that we read off of what most of the themes on ThemeForest have. ThemeForest is a database of WordPress themes that you can choose from. And so we go through the demo with her, and at the end of it, she says, okay, yeah, that sounds good. And man, I can still remember this feeling, and it's crazy talking about it now. It brings back the same emotions. It was crazy. It almost felt too good to be true. And we were selling the website for $400. So it wasn't the money, it was the fact that this would be the first dollar we ever earned on our own. This would be the first dollar I earned that was not involving working underneath a boss. So She hung up, and the way we did things back then is we would send a PayPal invoice. And I hate PayPal invoices now because they make the client like put in everything from their credit card to their address, the zip code, and if that doesn't match exactly the credit card information, then it won't go through. And the type of business owners we were working with, like owners of mom and pop businesses, like if something doesn't work, they're just going to get flustered, and it's a big process. So we would send out these invoices and just like cross our fingers they would come back paid. Now the way we do it is we take credit card over the phone, but back then we didn't have that set up. So we sent out the invoice and we waited, and she said she was going to do it that day, and the day went past and she hadn't. So just waiting for the money to come in, waiting for the money to come in. And it was late in the evening on a Friday night. I was out doing something else with company, and my business partner at the time texted me a screenshot of the paid invoice, and it was, we had received the $200. And this was like literally, this was probably one of the pivotal moments of my career. It was, my share of that revenue was $100. It was almost nothing. But it was just the symbolic moment of where in my mind, I was no longer some wannabe entrepreneur, some dude that just like watched YouTube videos while sitting in his crappy corporate job, wishing his life was different. If for the first time I had actually done it, I'd picked up the phone and convinced some random person to give me their hard-earned money. And it was like mind-blowing. It was mind-blowing. So from then on, we channeled that motivation, and I've channeled that motivation ever since to keep scaling up. The point I want to drive home is that your first sale is not going to be clean. It's not going to be easy. I cringe when I think how inefficient our sales process was back then. But it doesn't matter. You just have to do whatever it takes to get that first sale. Whether it's convincing a friend, whether it's a ton of cold calling, whether it's door knocking, whatever it is, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be smooth. It's not going to be very profitable, but it's the symbolic nature of that first sale that allows you to prove to yourself that you can do it. You can do this thing, entrepreneurship, and it's not just some like fairy tale in your mind. I mean, I literally think that of all the people that watch these type of YouTube videos, probably 75% of them, like I'm sad to say, will never even make $1 of entrepreneurial income, because it is hard. It is hard to do, and you don't know if you're doing things, you're cold calling, and you're constantly thinking, is this going to work? Am I wasting my time? Is this silly? Is this stupid? Like, what am I doing? And you just don't have the confidence to know that, yes, it will work if you keep going. So your first sale, guys, I really hope you experience something similar to this. And I'm sure some of you already have, which is awesome. But, I'd love for you to comment below, what is your first sale story? Because I love hearing about people's moment of origin. So that's all for today, guys. I just wanted to share that story. I hope you got something valuable out of it. If you like this type of content, please like, comment, subscribe. And again, I'd love to hear the story about your first sale. Till next time, guys, talk to you later.